I'm really scared of the culture war. The fact that we call it a culture war, like our vernacular is implying a war. I don't want a war. That sounds terrible. I don't want people to die.
Seems reasonable to me.
And I think that conversations where we're all into this conversation space is full of men talking about man things, which is fine, which is good, but it's like there's a lot of we're leaning too much towards ideas and not enough towards like our own inner traumas that are pushing these ideas forward. I love Peterson. Peterson fucking changed my life. Like, absolutely. That man, I owe that man more than I could possibly give him. But I'm in a kind of post-Petersonian mindset right now, where I'm like standing on the shoulders of giants in this way. Like, I don't. I think that when I'm triggered by social justice warriors, which says something about me, right? But like every time, well, and I'm less triggered now. I had a whole ass conversation with this girl who was talking about trans rights and veganism and how problematic Oprah was last night, and I didn't say anything, and I barely even felt like saying anything.
That's
like,
a good idea.
Me at 22 would have just made enemies with her so quickly. Like, there would have been no chance, right? But I just did this crazy thing where I shut the fuck up, which was amazing, right? So, but like every person I've met, when I really talk to them, like I'm talking to you right now, who has these triggers, and on the right side as well, you guys are just as fucked up. Don't pretend, right? I'm not like, but like the people on the left, when they hate men, it's often because men have been terrible to them their entire lives.
Sure,
like
yeah.
their fathers weren't there, or they were abusive, or like, and then they had a boyfriend, because this trauma like carries on. You know, if your model of a father is some alcoholic asshole, you get with an alcoholic asshole, and then he abuses you, and it's like, okay, so, and then you maybe were like molested by a teacher or something. You know, like every man in your life was fucking terrible, and now you hate, like, no shit, you hate men. This is pattern recognition, right?
Sure.
And so it's like why would I be angry at someone who has trauma? Like, would I be angry at a PTSD veteran who like is scared of fireworks and doesn't want to come to the party? No, I wouldn't. Like, I would understand what's going on with him, and like that has me fired up, right? So that is part of this, is that what Peterson is doing. He's doing a lot of things absolutely right, but I think one of his shadows is the bloody postmodern neo-Marxists. Like, I'm really into cults. I've been into cults since I was a kid, and since I was like 16.
You been in any cults?
I haven't been in, well, I've been in a cult mindset before, and I'll explain what that means. So like,
sure.
I haven't been in a cult though. There's this guy, Steven Hassan, who talks about cults, and he talks about, there's this mindset that he kind of talks about, which is, I always forget the name of it, but essentially it's like a cult mindset. And you don't have to be in Jonestown to have a cult mindset, right? You can be in a multi-level marketing scheme, you can be in like, in a workplace, in an abusive relationship. Abusers use the same exact strategies the cults use. And it actually turns out that it's less of like cults are unique, and it's more that humans are very hackable, and you can just fuck with us, you know, and some people more than others. And so like cults often form the way you get someone to, and it's a spectrum, by the way, like not every cult has the same things, but they all have like a list of symptoms, let's say. And so the way you get someone into a cult is, first of all, you find them when they're isolated from their family and friends. So like they've moved to a new city for college, for instance. So they're in a new transition period. They don't have a support system. They're looking for a new support system. And you do things like you give them a lack of sleep, maybe a lack of nutritious food. You love bomb them at first. So you just fill them with love and make them feel totally accepted and loved. And then slowly you like isolate them from their community. And so you're like, hey, your friends are toxic. They don't believe in the one great messiah, the crocodile god. So you should get rid of them. And then you're like, oh yeah, you're right. They're not going to go to hell. They're not going to go to heaven. They're going to go to hell. And every time I tell them about the crocodile god, they keep telling me that I'm full of shit and that I should stop giving all my money to the cult leader, because they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. They should go to hell. And so you isolate them. And then suddenly your brain is probably telling you at some point, that little voice in your brain is saying like, I shouldn't I should get out of this. But then you're like isolated. You've got no one else around you and you feel powerless because the love bombing has switched over to you're weak and you can't survive for yourself. And so you need to give us all of your money. Anyway, so like there's all these different things that happen in a cult. And actually America has accidentally put itself into a cult mindset without us realizing. Like, so Americans get like an hour less sleep on average. And that's just average, right? I know people who work 3 jobs and they're not getting fucking 8 hours of sleep. There's no way, right? They're getting 5, 4 sometimes. So like immediately they're primed for the cult mindset. We're moving away from our towns. We're going to new places. We go to university in a completely different state and then we sign up for a gender studies degree or we fucking get into PragerU or whatever it is. And then, you know, and then look, we're only consuming information from our sources, from the sources that we agree with, and not from the other side. So we're blackballing them. We're going, you guys are fucking idiots. I'm cutting myself off from you. We're eating shitty food. Our brains aren't working properly. We're not exercising. And like, then suddenly you wake up 5 years later and you're like, my only friends are blue-haired, you know, I'm not going to go for the left. I'm going to go for the right. My only friends are MAGA fucking like Trump supporters who drink beer and are fat and talk about white pride, but they have no pride in themselves. They don't even they have white pride, but they can't even like not be morbidly obese, you know, and all these
their ancestors' wildest dreams.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a long thing, but like I don't even know where I was going with that. But so I've been in that cult mentality before. I got into feminism when I was younger, like kind of not super hardcore, but like I got into it and I was like, oh yeah, this is. I definitely have been in that mindset before, and I got into it with Peterson as well, into that like this is my tribe mindset, and what Peterson I think is doing is he is going to war with the bloody postmodern neo-Marxists who are in that cult mentality, and so what he's doing is. He's saying all this wonderful stuff that's absolutely incredible, life-changing, changed my fucking life. And then he's also, when he debates these people, he's not actually converting them. He's not actually bringing them into the center.
Sure.
Some of them he is, but the other ones he's radicalizing, and then he's radicalizing people to be on his side. And then he's just growing a bigger army in preparation for the culture war. And if that is his goal, to win the culture war, to win the upcoming war, then he's succeeding. But if his goal is to unite parties, then ideas are not the space, because these people are it's not intellectual. This isn't an intellectual layer of reality. This is an emotional layer of reality. And these people are deeply traumatized, and so is he, and so are his followers. And so am I. Many people are, right? Most people are.
Yes.
You look bored. I'm sorry about that.
No, I was going to say I resonate with, you said, you know, you're kind of in a post-Peterson phase. It's like, yeah, I got a lot of value from him in college and whatnot when I'd gone to college my freshman year and didn't have any friends basically for the first year, a little bit less than a year. Towards the end I did. I was really isolated and you know, got in bad straits, and then listening to Peterson was like, okay, this is practically helpful. Like, oh, I shouldn't take 4-hour naps in the middle of the day. Like I should get up and, you know, actually pursue goals and whatnot. And life is not just a meaningless, you know, we're not just dust floating on a rock. Like meaning is a physiological instinct, just like hunger or thirst. That all meant a lot to me. Yeah, and now his whole political, I agree. He's I thought he was like gonna, you know, he could have been a centrist uniter. Like his Kathy Newman interview, that was him at his prime, right? That's him being attacked and him responding with humor and just, you know, you could tell he would get flashes of anger and what would you say, certitude, which is fine, but now, yeah, like the up yours woke moralist stuff and all that, it's like, it's not good. And I agree that he is just radicalizing the left. Like when he says, you know, maybe adults shouldn't be able to transition. It's like, whether or not that's, I mean, I don't personally think it's true, but to the point about radicalizing the left, it's like, well, people are just going to see that and go, well, this guy is literally out to get trans people. So that's it. So now I'm going to go back to my bubble and stay there. And the people on the right are, yes, he's anti-trans now or whatnot. So I definitely, yeah, the culture war is not, people use that term to like dismiss it, but I think it's more significant than people realize, because it will affect. I mean, what precedes every civil war is a culture war, I would assume. Certainly, like Ireland, that's the time of troubles when the Irish Catholics and the English Church of England or whatever, the English nationalists versus Irish nationalists, whatever, the Irish Republican Army and all that. It's like, it wasn't like a civil war as in it was, one geography versus the other. It was like neighbors and shit turning on each other and stuff. It's like that could actually occur to some effect in the United States places. And so, yeah, it's scary. I feel that. And I don't think the radicalization that Peterson seems to be engaging in is helpful.